Alright, Barak to Yahawah, Barak to Yahawashi, Barak to Yahawah, Barak to Yahawashi, Barak to Yahawah, Barak to Yahawashi, Kal Halayim La, Abanawa Yahawah, Bahashim Yahawashi, Bahashim Rukah Kadash. I'd like to say double honors and respect to our apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well and taught us truth. I would also like to say much love and peace and salutations to the Lord's elect, the hopeful elect in 1/3. This is your brother Salah. All right, in today's video lesson, I want to talk about hope, man. So, I was out on the job, man. On the plantation, and while I was driving, man, I noticed something on the back of this vehicle right here, right? It's kind of blurry though, but because I had to take it on my work phone, while driving, because we were moving, but basically how like you're technically not supposed to use your phone at work, but basically how I was able to do that, like I wasn't holding the phone, but it was in the little phone holder, and what I did was I quickly switched to the camera, zoomed in on the vehicle, and if and it's a little blurry, but you could tell on the back of the vehicle it says hope, man. Right, and then you see in the bottom right corner it says 144, man. Call Allah YAHAWASHI Shai, man. This lifted up my spirits when I saw this on the road, man. Because I'm gonna give a quick testimony. I was kind of going through, I was kind of going through a bad time. My spirit was getting tested, right. I was helping a customer, right? Move their containers, with my job, right. Because I'd like swap. I was picking up a full container and dropping off an empty one, but they wanted it in the same space. Well, the space they wanted, it was in a bad area because the machine that I normally used to to pick up and drop it off, it kept getting stuck in the dirt, and I had to tell them like, look, this is becoming an issue because the area where you want it, it's on like a slight decline or slope, so to one side, so like I can't get the container perfectly centered in it, and a bunch of other stuff happened. But long story short, man, these and yes, these were my customers, man. They were really pissing me off, man. Like, I asked them to sign paperwork. They gave BS excuses why they couldn't sign it, and then they fucking instead of like speaking and facing me like grown ass adults, and mind you, this was the entire family. The man, the wife was there. The man was there, and so was the kid. But really, it was the woman speaking for the man. So it goes to show you, man, that this fucking devil don't got balls, man. These devils, man, they something else, man. Cowards, man, fucking cowards, man. But anyways, man, back to the subject matter at hand. When when I saw this, man, it gave me a spiritual faith booster, man. Showing, and it shows me that YAHAWASHI Shai is saying that, hey, man, don't give up, man. Have faith, man. That the Lord's gonna save you. Yeah, because that's what we hope and pray for, man, to the very end, man. And it's to always keep that faith no matter what, and pray that YAHAWASHI Shai doesn't take the Holy Spirit from you, because it's only under the blood of YAHAWASHI that we can be saved and delivered, right? So, without any further ado, I'm going to open up with the book of Romans, and we're going to start at chapter 8, verse 21. And it says here, because the creature itself also shall be delivered from the bondage of corruption into the glorious liberty of the children of God, Yahawah. For we know that the whole creation groaneth and travaileth in pain together until now. And that's right, man. We need these chains of darkness, man. And the only one that can free us from these chains of darkness is YAHAWASHI Shai, man. YAHAWASHI, when he comes back, in the fathership, and delivers us from our captivity, man. And that's not after until all hell breaks loose. Aside from these ice cubes, vanilla ice men, agents, right? Along with various militaries, and as well as these AI robots, and after all that's come to pass, that's when the implementation of the MOTB, that mark of the beast, the Karama, pertaining to Revelations 13. Chapter 13, verse 16 on down, or no man can buy or sell, save yet the mark, where Esau's going to force people to take it, man. Our hope is the Lord's going to deliver us from all those temptations, man. That's why we got to pray, man. Always pray, that the Lord YAHAWASHI Shai is going to deliver us, from all these trials and temptations, man, and that we may be saved, from this said destruction that's coming, man, through these ICBM nuclear missiles. All right. And at verse 23, and not only they but ourselves, which have which have the first fruits, right? And when it's talking about the first fruits, it's talking about the elect, right? The first fruits of the Spirit, and even who's ourselves growing within ourselves, waiting for the adoption to wit, the redemption of our body, man. And what's that's talking about? Well, that's talking about Jeremiah chapter 31, verse 31 on down, man. Talking about that new covenant, right? Right, or the renew, or or the second covenant, man. And where the Lord beams us up, gives the elect, those first fruits, their new spiritual body, where they have the laws written in their inward parts, where they're not gonna be, where they're not gonna sin ever again. That's when their sins are gonna be absolved completely. The laws will be written in their inward parts. They're never gonna sin again, meaning they're never gonna die. And then on top of that, they're gonna have spiritual powers, man. To rule in co-heirs with YAHAWASHI, man. Man, the tabernacle of David, man. That's what we hope and pray to be part of. And to be delivered from these said terrors, man. That the Lord ordained to happen. Why? Because because we are in the time of judgment, man. We are in the time of Jacob's trouble. Also, so now, man. Now is the time. For you sincere brothers and sisters, man. Is the time to establish and build and have that hope, man. Because if not, if you're not covered under the blood of Yahawashi, man, if you don't have that hope and faith, man, I don't know what to tell you. You pretty much asked out. Our only way out is through Yahawah Shai, right? Verse 24. For we are saved by hope, but hope that is seen is not hope for what a man seeth, but why doth he yet hope for? But if we hope for that we see not, then we do then we do with patience wait for it, right? And what's that's referring to, man? It's having that faith, man. Part of hope is or we talking. A part of faith is having that hope, man. And hoping what, being delivered from these said perils and destruction, man. And a part of that is having is having fear, and trust in the Lord Yahweh Shai, that he's gonna deliver us, from all said perils, man. All said terrors that is gonna come upon the world, because you see what the fuck ICE is doing, man. And of course, if you brothers and sisters has been paying attention on the news, right? Basically the government gave ICE full immunity, without a search warrant, to basically bust into people's homes and, take them from their homes, while they're asleep, man. And they normally do this in in the middle of the night, or very early in the morning, man. People are vulnerable, man. So Esau is getting ready to, is getting down, with his blessing, with his sword, right? Because he's bringing down that wrath, because he knows he has but a short time, pertaining to Revelation 12 verse 12, man. And that's the time we're in, and during this time, we need Yahweh Shai, man, because if not, what are you gonna do, man? You like your gun, your fucking gun, or whatever the fuck weapon you have, that's just not gonna save you, man. Esau has weapons for days. He was blessed with the sword, man. He doesn't even need to use a gun, man. He can use a fucking laser from space to burn down your entire fucking house, man. I'm sorry I gotta say it like that, but it's facts. That's why we need divine intervention, man. We need spiritual power, man. From on high, to deliver us, man. Because these are the times that we're heading in, and, yeah, so I'm gonna bring out a few more precepts, right? Pertaining to hope. So this is the book of Job, chapter 4, verse 6. Is not this thy fear, thy confidence, thy hope, and the uprightness of thy ways? Remember, I pray thee, whoever perished being innocent, or where were the righteous cut off, right? So you see judgment taking place, right? You see all these people dying, right? Well, they didn't die for no reason. These people perished because for one, the Lord ordained it, and two, they probably did something in their past life, right? Right, but speaking to the righteous, right? The Lord's not going to forsake you. Yes, some of us will be martyred, but guess what? well, the ones that were ordained to be martyred, right? The Lord's gonna put the Spirit on those people, to not even feel that pain, right? And we and there are scriptures, and actually do have scriptures to prove that, right? Let's see if I can get the Book of Wisdom of Solomon. All right, bear with me for a moment. All right. All right, so this is the Book of Wisdom of Solomon, right? So this is speaking to the brothers, right? That are destined to be martyrs, right? Right, whether they be the guillotine, or however the way they get taken out, right? Right. So Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 3, starting at verse 1, and it says here, "But the souls of the righteous are in the hand of God, man. They're in the hand of Yahawah, and there are and there shall no torment touch them. And the sight of the unwise they seem to die. Their departure is taken for misery, and they're going from us to be utter destruction. But they are in peace. But they are in peace, right? Meaning what? Yeah. Although it might look like they might be suffering a horrible death, right? They're at peace because why? Because they have that faith, man. They have that hope because they know, oh, through the Spirit and power of YAHAWASHI, they know they're gonna be saved, man. Why? Because they know that, and it's the kingdom, man, and that's for you hopeful like men out there. For though they be punished in the sight of men, yet their hope is full of immortality, right? And that's what we hope and pray for, man. Is immortality of Yahweh Shai, right? And having been little chastised, they shall be greatly rewarded. For Yahweh God proved them and found them worthy for Himself, man. And that and that's what we hope and pray for, man. Is to be worthy of the Lord Yahweh Shai. So Slocky, bear with me one moment. I have to go somewhere. Man, Andrew, good day. How you doing? Yeah, of course, man. Full day. They pulled it out back. Slocky about that, brother. I had guests come over, but yeah, but anyways, back to the lesson, right? All right, so yeah, that's basically what we hope for, man. Is immortality, man. The covenants, blessings, and promises that the Lord, the Al-Bashim, outside promised to Israel, right? Starting off with His elect, those first fruits, as we read in as we read in the book of Romans, right? Right, as gold in the furnace hath tried them, verse 6, and receive them as a burnt offering, right? We pray that we be that righteous sacrifice in the eyes of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, man. All right, going back to the book of Job, chapter 5, verse 16, it says here, "So the poor hath hope, and iniquity stoppeth her mouth. Behold, happy is the man whom Yahweh correcteth. There, therefore, despise not thou chastening of the Almighty," right? Because that's the trials and temptations that we face through daily, right? And that ultimate temptation that we're gonna face is, the RFID microchip, man. The mark of the beast, that karagma, that incision underneath the skin. That's gonna be the ultimate test, right? All these things that we go through right now, just as I stated, my personal testimony, man. This is stuff to refine us, correct us, right? We might get mad, instead of crashing out, right? We take it on the chin, right? We might get angry, yeah, because we in the flesh, but guess what? We do our best, to hold, as they say in the world, to hold frame, right? Right? Keep our integrity, right? Right, because when that great trial comes, man, we're not gonna crash out, man. We already expect. expect the end result, man, and what's that? Salvation, right? For those of us, that can endure these trials and temptations. All right, all right. For he maketh sore and bindeth up. He wounded and his hands make whole. Right. So YAHAWASHI Shai, man. If the Lord ordains it, he could either fuck you up, man, or he could heal you, man. And this and for the elect, and it's a process, right? To refine them, to make them better, to make them worthy in the eyes of the Lord Yahweh Shai, right? That he shall deliver thee in 6 troubles, yeah, in 7 there shall no evil touch thee, right? Right. So you suck you but I'm sorry I'm stammering a little bit, but yeah, man, the Lord's gonna always constantly, be setting us in in these trials and temptations, right? And especially right now, man, it might look like we might be facing some sort of danger, but the Lord, but for those of us, who trust in fear and Yahweh Shem Shai, man, the Lord's gonna deliver us, right? Right. Right, the ones who are being sincere, right? That truly believe in this doctrine, and that that the elect of Israel, man, is going to be saved, man. Starting with 144,000, the 1/3, men, men, women, children that that believe, right, the tabernacle of David, who Yahawah is only coming back for. In all right, verse Job chapter 5 verse 20. In famine he shall redeem thee from death, and in war the power of the sword, right? And who's that sword talking about? Oh, it's Esau, man. Esau's the Lord's sword against Jake. Or basically the whooping stick against Jake, man. That's why it says in the book of Psalms, man. Hide me, from the violent man, right? That's talking about Esau, man. And that's what King David prayed for. That's mainly for the elect. When when King David prayed, prayed for that. So again, man, our hope is that we are covered under the blood of Yahweh Shai, that we might be kept safe from all these said perils, and for the ones that do gotta go through this, man, again, Wisdom of Solomon chapter 3 verse 1 on down, man. Pray that the Lord gives gives that spirit, to endure, to not feel that pain, or to go through it, man. All right, this is the book of Psalms, chapter 31, verse 24. Be of good courage; he shall strengthen your heart, meaning your mind. All ye that hope in the Lord, Yahawah Bahashim Yahushai, man. So he's supposed to be courageous, man, in the Lord. Not be scared or wavering or faint, or like, oh, is the Lord really gonna do this? Like, no, we gotta believe that the Lord Yahweh Bahashim Yahushai is gonna do this, man. That he's gonna freaking deliver us from all these said perils, man. Because why? The Lord said so. So we have to believe it, man. Because who else are we gonna trust, man? Where we're gonna go? That's what Peter said, man. Lord, to whom shall we turn unto? Roughly paraphrasing. All right, and we're gonna close off with the book of Psalms, chapter 62, verse 6. Right, he only is my rock and my salvation. He is my defense. I shall not be moved. So no matter what happens, man, what matter of trials and temptations we go through, man. If the Lord puts the Spirit on us, man. If we be faithful and true, man. We not gonna be moved, man. Why? Because our foundation, our root is in Yahweh Shai, man. Because if Yahweh Shai is not your root, I don't know what the fuck to tell you, man. All right. So so trust and pray, man. For your brothers and sisters that are listening. right? That YAHAWASHI, man, is your foundation. And first and foremost, you got a part of the hopeful elect, man. So pray that you are covered under the blood of Yahushua, and you're under His good graces, right? And with that, I'm getting off the lesson right there. So hope this lesson has been edifying, to you Akim and if you Akwath. And with that, I like to say, Call Halayim La, Abanawa, Yahawah, Bahashim, YAHAWASHI, Bahashim Ruka Kadash. Double honors and respect to our apostles and elders, a great millstone who rule well and taught us His truth. I also like to say much love and peace and salutations to the Lord's elect, the whole elect in 1/3, and you Israelite foreigners, you speckled birds, scattered across the four corners of the earth among the heathen that may look like the heathen, but your seed line / sperm line goes back under Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. To the remnant, to the elect, to you, I say shalom. Till next time.